Okay, guys, race number 7 on the card. Oh, here's the Isuzu, Steve, isn't it? For the fillies and mares. And, well, as always, these high-rated mares dominate this marketplace.
Yashara Rose is clearly well supported early doors, 270 to 240. Concert Hall, friendless, $3 out to 320, cannot ride a ticket for the James Wellwood trained galloper. My Tie, 9 into 7.5. A Slave to Love, rock solid in that third line of 7.5. House of Cartier, well supported. Again, a horse that was down to run in the Captain Cook 7 days ago. They've opted against the own sex here at 11. Mohaka, 17 out to 21, best of the rest communique, 21 out to 26. So 2 horses have been firmers, including the favourite and Show of Roses, the defending champ, 270 into 240, and My Tie, 9 into 7.5.
Okay. See, we're losing on Magic and Canto, Paul. It's unusual.
Is it?
No,
Similar profile. You Are a Star, Magic and Canto.
Yeah,
Losing Thursday, Friday, dry up Saturday.
Okay, $31 for Magic and Canto. BP. Look, we see this a lot in these races where the higher rated mares look quite short prices on the eye. Customers want to sort of gravitate to your 7s, your 8s, your 11s, your 21s, but then late in proceedings, the money comes for the 2 quality mares up the top. And the horse you had on top last time, Show of Roses at $10, is now $2.40. Yeah,
that's right. I mean, it's a runner that, look, through some of these type of races, she hasn't had a lot of love as she Show of Roses, and it's taken a little while for to be able to, I guess, gain that punter respect with what she did show last season by winning this race last year, and of course the Rich Hill Mile, and she went around at sort of $23 when she won this race last year. Was it around $8 or $9 when she won the Rich Hill? And of course, as you said, she went around at $10 when she won the Auckland Thoroughbred Breeders. Look, she's just a horse who naturally puts herself there, and she is drawn in barrier number 1, which I know at times, it all sounds great, but it can be at times a sticky gate. I know that sounds ridiculous what I'm trying to say there, but I've spoken to jockeys so often, they love the fact with horses that jump and run, that 2, 3, 4 is a beautiful barrier, because from 1, if you're just that half slow, half stride, not quite away, it means you're hustling and you're trying to keep out horses that are coming from out wider. But she's just a horse who's just naturally good out of the barriers. So that's a big tick, isn't it? An immediate big tick where she's got that rail to work with straight away. And then I guess a horse like Magic and Canto is one of those horses that you could be worried about, who's drawn right next door in barrier number 2 and actually raced yesterday at Hawke's Bay. And look, I know the track conditions are going to be a lot different, because the horse does appreciate that wetter going. But Magic and Canto does play a part in terms of what happens to the speed of this race. I just feel as though Show of Roses is going to be awfully hard to beat, though, with her love for Tarapa, the fact that she just places herself there on speed, and she can quicken when she wants to. So, yeah, I find it hard to beat. I'm pretty keen to be around her as one of the better bets for the day.
Yeah, exactly. And the nice early move would only strengthen your opinion, 270 to 240. Paul, how did you approach it? No money Concert Hall, which is a little bit surprising, I would have thought.
Yeah, obviously full of class, but you just keep looking at Show of Roses and you think, ho, ho, ho.
Got their race pattern, hasn't it?
It certainly does. I thought her win last start was really impressive. She had to work very, very hard to get to the lead, and still had enough gas in the tank to hold them off down the straight. So, yeah, I do find it, unless she struggles to get away out of the gate, it really does look like her race to lose.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree, Steve. Look, My Tie in this market has moved a little bit disappointing on the eye last time, as we put that down to the heavy 10.
Yeah, I think so. I think the heavy 10 played a key part in its below betting expectation performance. But even going back on its win 2 starts back, it'd have to improve 4 lengths off that to be a chance in toppling the top 2. So I'm happy to take a set against it, even though it has firm 9 into 7.5 My Tie. But I can understand a little bit of cash around it just purely on its overall profile. Look, Show of Roses, if you're keen for this horse, 240 might be an okay price, just because of the lack of money we're seeing around Concert Hall.
Yeah, I was going to say.
There might be some major focus heading towards Boxing Day with Concert Hall. Not saying it's just going around for a run on Saturday, but in terms of
back to the mile, though, isn't it? So back
to the mile, slight freshen up. 5 weeks between runs since it last hit Tarapa. defending its crown in 2 weeks' time, and there's a Beal, weight for age, 2,000 meters. That's its ideal profile in terms of a sweet spot, Concert Hall. So just a lack of money around it concerns me. So that naturally will gravitate the money towards the favourite and possibly driving that price in even shorter than 2.4 on race day. And I've got it getting a trail from barrier 1. Now, I think the lead sits with Victorian. And I don't think there's too much speed in the race. Magic Encanto is the enigma. Just not sure where it sits in the map. But Opie's right on Show of Roses last start was a gem. Considering it was from a wide gate, he just didn't panic. He gradually got to the leading 2 and sat outside the leader. You look and say, yes, did they run slow sectionals because our Alley Cat and Show of Roses quinelled the race and they were the first 2 coming around the turn at Te Rapa, but they ran 46.65 for the first 800, which is 4.4 lengths above par. So it did again suit those horses in that neutral position, even though we noticed that Te Rapa can play on speed at times. But so that just gives more merit to the win around Show of Roses. And as I mentioned, won this race last year, holds its PB over 1,600 metres in a rich hill last season. So I think stepping up to the extra 200 metres is ideal for Show of Roses. And outside that, I just think this overall race just devoid of form when it comes to 1,600 metres outside the top 2 or 3 in the market. So from a Magic Encanto down, on weights and measures, they've got a task. Okay,
well, what about Slave to Love? Because that's one we didn't mention. For that mile form, probably not. Was it? It has one at the mile.
Yeah, it was a bit left field in terms of its performance last start, but you've got to measure it. It did come around. It did come along the outside with 2 Alyssa and ran comparable sectionals to 2 Alyssa, who, as we mentioned, is the favourite for the Captain Cook. So just has to back up that performance. Because it was a little bit left field. I just want to see it back up that performance, which it showed at Te Rapa on the 20th of November. But look, it's probably going to be in that neutral position, Slave to Love, and giving a few of the leading chances a few lengths in the straight.
You've been a House of Cartier man, Paul, in the past, $11.
Well,
she enough to tempt you.
She was in the Captain Cookie last week. And so I'm definitely sticking with her. She's in the 4. She's in the top 4, but it's I just think it's going to be very, very hard to beat Show of Roses.
Steve sort of backed up your comments, BP, around Show of Roses, just working from that outside draw and Opie having time from barrier 10 to find that spot rather than necessarily being bustled out, but you'd have to have it on top.
Yeah, I do. I think she's a good bet at the meeting on Saturday. So her on top. And to be honest with you, I find the 2nd, 3rd, 4th combination a hard one. I do like House of Cartier. I think House of Cartier for me is a top 4 bet. I just like the way that this horse is tracking towards maybe a race like the Zabeel Classic. She has come back in great form. So I'm going to have something on her in the top 4, and I'm going to have her in my numbers. I'm around sort of House of Cartier, Concert Hall, and Mai Tai are the others that I like. I'm just not sure which order to put them in. But in terms of having a bet, having a win bet on Show of Roses and a top 4 bet on House of Cartier.
Yeah, beautiful. We don't need 4 here on the league up, by the way. If you're just feeling a Show of Roses win, feeling a House of Cartier top 4, that we can stop there, Paul, can't we? Now, you guys been comparing notes again, you two. What do you got? Show of Roses on top, House of Cartier.
House of Cartier in there, Mai Tai, Concert Hall.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
Just with Mohaka,
yes.
Again, first 2 runs I've ridden it very negatively in terms of where it's drawn. It's a horse that can put itself on speed. Not sure it's up to this class, but again, if you're working the speed maps, I wouldn't be surprised if it change tacks from what we've seen the first 2 runs and go forward.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, absolutely. So Mohaka out there at $21. The boys very keen on the last start winner, Show of Roses.